thought this was a good opportunity to save some money on some legal fees and stuff, as far as the brownfield development and stuff. So I thought this was a good opportunity to take advantage of our dues that we pay to Aerotropolis and let Chris and his team go through this. But it also still comes in front of you guys to decide whether you want to go through with this or not. But like Chris said, this is that time where you decide whether or not you want to go through with this. Basically, it's a brownfield somewhere.
Okay. Going back to those other ones, have we followed up on those? Like, did they meet the metrics?
Yes, through the chair. So I think since our last, when our full-time economic development director was here, like when I first got in, that was one of the things. And I know the three that I just brought up, he had went through and showed me that they had met those metrics and stuff like that. So it is something that we're going to continue to make sure. And with the announcement tonight, that's going to be one of the main things that because I agree with you that we have metrics in place and we want to make sure that companies are following those. And, but we also understand that there's, some businesses need some technical positions that we might not be able to do. So there's a little wiggle room there as well. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that Taylor residents are getting access to those jobs. And, in this situation, I think it's definitely beneficial to the city of Taylor and the creation of jobs and everything. And a lot of these jobs would definitely fit a lot of Taylor residents.
Just a few more things. One, because yes, $4 to $6 million is a lot of money, so we should definitely have a return on that. And Chris, you're always good with sending reports, I think, on what you do, so I fully anticipate if this is approved, that would be included in what you give. My last question is, how did this come about? Because I think they went to planning earlier in the year with the plan. So when did this start? Like, when did the discussion with the PA 198 start? Like, how did that come about?
It actually started in 2021, 2022. With the previous mayor, actually. So about 4 years ago, the discussion started. And then due to COVID and the surge in material prices, we put the project on hold. But then I think with other offers coming from the Carolinas and down south, we wanted to get competitive to make sure we landed the project here. And that's what reignited the PA 198. And Scott and the team, if you wanted to elaborate too, they're here.
And through the chair, the $4 to $6 million is a big investment, but at the end of the day, I think the return on the investment is much greater. So,
well, the investment is 20 to 30 million, correct? And then whole taxes over that time frame, I think he said was about 10, and then so 50% abatement, $5 million abatement, but still the increase is $5 million.
And if through the chair,
total millages, so to the city would be even a percentage of that.
You're right.
Yeah. And if you've driven by any one of their facilities, CMAQ runs a top notch. All their businesses look beautiful from the outside, and it means something to me. But they're a veteran-owned business as well.
And has this gone through the Planning Commission?
I believe so.
It has. So that's already been approved.
Yes.
Site elevation. I think you included that in the last. Councilwoman.
So would we see? I mean, wouldn't there normally be more than 2 pieces of paper attached to this? Like, wouldn't there be like something? Is the city going to sign an agreement or something that lays out, how many jobs and, what all the agreement as to what they're agreeing to, the 50%? Wouldn't we see an agreement?
Yeah. So that goes to the community benefit agreement. So back in August when I was here, there was a 9-page document we went through. And that community benefit agreement has not been finalized yet. So there's a 2-step process to the PA 198. First is the establishment of the industrial development district. Think of it as wrapping a boundary around that 44-acre parcel. And then now when we move into the industrial facilities exemption certificate, that's when we get into the nuts and bolts of what exactly will the capital investment be on the shell, what interior capital investment, personal property will there be, and then the negotiation with the duration of the personal and real property tax abatement, and then how many jobs are created and the timeline those jobs are created. And to the mayor's point, that's where the city and Aerotropolis work together to say, you must hold 3 job fairs within the first 9 months of opening. And you must give preferential treatment to City of Taylor residents. And so we have the ability to write that language into the community benefit agreement now. But right now, now you're looking at the very first step of the 198, which is the Industrial Development District, which is the boundary around the 44-acre parcel. And you all have the ability to approve or disapprove that, and that eliminates any and all opportunity for the next step of the process. So we haven't gone through the next step yet, which is to go through that negotiation of exactly the timeline, duration, and what community benefit, how strong do we want it to be. For example, in Washtenaw County, we wrote language that said even contractors who work on constructing the facility should give, the owner should give preferential treatment to City of Taylor contractors. And we did that in Washtenaw County, where they would give preferential treatment to Washtenaw County contractors. And I think that's the next step of the negotiation before the industrial facility exemption certificate is issued.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any further questions from the council? Councilman Johnson?
And once that's developed, that will come back to us.
Yeah, of course, we can do that together. So typically I work with the mayor's team, and so it would be the mayor and myself when we would draft that, but happy to present that to council, Mayor, if that's okay with you.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So through the chair, we'll follow basically what we already have, but we'll tweak some things as well.
Okay.
Chairman?
Councilwoman?
So I guess I'm just not understanding why, you know, you're saying that, yeah, I'll give it to you if you want. Shouldn't all of those come before council? Are you signing an agreement on behalf of the city?
So basically, we're allowing Aerotropolis to handle all this. So Aerotropolis is basically, so they're gonna, it's not, you know, normally like when we do an abatement, it's handled through economic development, and then, you know, the brownfields and stuff like that, we bring in a lawyer to handle all that stuff. Normally, Neil, what's his name, Silver comes in and handles all that stuff. So I wasn't aware that Aerotropolis handled all this stuff, and Chris has, as you can see, has a lot of knowledge with this stuff. So I decided, okay, we can use our dues, you know, another reason why we have Aerotropolis to use this opportunity. We already have a system basically on how, you know, when we do brownfields and abatements, I should be using the word abatement, like depending on how big it is, how many years they get, the creation of jobs and all that stuff. We have that sheet somewhere. Unfortunately, I don't have it right now with me. That's what I was basically referring to, that what we would use as a benchmark, so to speak. But what you guys are voting on tonight, whether to allow Aerotropolis to handle this, what he's willing to do is say, hey, let's sit down together, and actually we will probably, you know, we'll sit down, carve this out, but I'm okay. But I guess, you know, the fact that they're willing to bring, you know, work with me on this, but I think normally once we give them permission, they kind of run with us a little bit. But,
Yeah,
you know.
through the chair, so we've done 4 PA 198s for neighboring communities, 3 in Romulus and 1 in Huron Township. And so it's something that Aerotropolis does on behalf of the communities it represents, and Taylor's just taking advantage of the opportunity if he wants to.
Chairman?
Councilwoman?
So I understand, and, you know, of course, you know, I would like to have millions of dollars coming in there and be awesome, and jobs and things, but,
Councilwoman, can you talk into the mic?
sure.
It's pointed down.
So, but I understand that, you know, that's very beneficial to us, but I just don't understand, you know, saving some money on legal fees and letting another entity decide what we are agreeing to in abatements and all these kinds of things. And, you know, like why would we have some other entity decide what we're going to get?
So right now, you're hearing what they're getting 8 years at what, 4 to 6? So what we're talking about is how many people that they're going to hire, you know, based on, so that's what, depending on how many people, they're gonna figure out what percentage, okay, we're gonna need 50 employees. We're gonna hash out, okay, I want 30 of those to be Taylor workers. So that's the stuff that we gotta sit down and hash out. And so what you're looking at is basically the abatement for 8 years at a $4 to $6 million abatement. That's what you're approving them to do.
Chairman,
And we're gonna check off the little semantic stuff. So,
Councilwoman Brandon and then Councilwoman Daniel.
I just, in the abatements that I recall, they always, you know, we talked about it, and I can understand that there's other entities involved, but I just don't understand why I'm getting, that, you know, the specifics, not in paper, you know what I mean? Like a gentleman's agreement or something. I
What,
don't-
through
I
the
don't
chair, what
have any-
specifics are you looking for? I mean,
Just what you just said, but I
Yeah.
mean, so I mean, is that how we do business? We do verbal things here and then, I mean,
No, like this, in this situation,
okay,
we're allowing them to do this deal without going through, the whole process of bringing in all these lawyers and stuff. We're saving money in this. But at